Update the meme, the free trial's getting expanded to Stormblood in 6.5. You're going to be able to do Stormblood now, but that's not what we're talking about today, even though that's some pretty good news. We're talking about the keynote that just happened for 7.0 in Final Fantasy, where we got the announcement of the new expansion called Dawntrail, coming summer of 2024. He did say that he would want it to be earlier in the summer of 2024 rather than later, but does not want to make any promises. Now, going over some of the details of the Taco expansion as the trailer plays out, this is supposed to be a summer vacation type feel rather than the daunting, saving of the universe that was the previous Light versus Dark saga. We are going to Torel, and we're kind of put in a contest for the throne that might lead us to the City of Gold of El Dorado. The theme of the expansion is discovery. Now, some of the details they go over are the new hub cities and 2 of the new areas, which obviously I won't be able to pronounce, but the names will be on the screen. I'm sorry, my pronunciation is awful. But this is really emphasizing the new graphics update, which I will talk about later. But other than showing off the new hub city, which is a very rural themed city and not industrial, based off of the indigenous population that's here, we found out a little bit about the mountainous region, which looks pretty interesting based off the screenshots, and a new forest city, which is a very unique from previous forest cities that we've had in the past. Then they talk a little bit about the new allied tribe and seeing how they might play out in the story. I thought it was pretty interesting thing to see, but that's not what everyone cares about. People care about content, and of course we're getting all the regular content that people would come to expect with an expansion. There is going to be a level cap increase to level 100. This goes for crafters and gatherers as well. 2 additional jobs. They did not share us with them today, but we do know we are getting a melee DPS and a magical range DPS, so a caster and a melee for those of you who care. They did also talk about fates, hunts, treasure maps, new dungeons, ultimates, alliance raids, the actual raids, and even more variant dungeons. One thing to note is the alliance raid. They said it's even going to be more Final Fantasy-esque than the previous series of Myth of the Realms. I don't know how you make a more Final Fantasy type story other than an original Final Fantasy story, but it'll be interesting to see. They did also talk about their want to add deep dungeons, even more Hildebrand, another Blue Mage update, Golden Saucer update, PvP updates, and all the other things that we come to expect with expansions. It's pretty interesting. I'm pretty happy that they did talk about deep dungeons and wanting to add those, because that's one of my favorite pieces of content. Now, they did also talk about expansive lifestyle new content, such as the Island Sanctuary. So basically Stardew Valley, the game in Final Fantasy 14. Also things that I really enjoy in the game. Giving people more things to avenues to play the game is better. Now, lastly, they talked about the system updates with system requirements, and I think those will be on the screen. I do think they're very bare minimum that you will need in order to run this game. It is a GTX 970, 8 gigabytes of RAM, i7 6700 equivalent for the minimum requirements. So that is pretty interesting. Onto the system updates. They did, and I am super excited for this, say we're getting a 2-die system per gear piece. It is absolutely amazing. I think that is phenomenal that we're going to be able to do that. You're going to have a new eyeglass in game that you will be able to wear with headgear. They're increasing the furnishing limit of housing, even though that won't be inevitable with 7.0. It will have to come at 7.x. And the system update that they're rolling out, that is the graphical update that you can see through the gear, the player styles, the everything in the game basically, and you will start seeing that in 7.0 with the base game content, and then rolling out 2.0 and filling in the gap between the expansions as we get through the expansion of Dawntrail. Now, for those of you who are on Xbox, you can rejoice. Final Fantasy 14 is finally coming to Xbox. So this is a huge thing. Phil Spencer came on stage. So for those of you who are on that side of the pond and not playing on PlayStation or PC, you will now finally be able to enjoy Final Fantasy 14. There was lots of tidbits in here. I want to cover it as quickly as possible. I think it is wonderful, everything that they're doing. I'm like absolutely loving everything in this keynote, and I just want to keep this as short and sweet as possible so you can get all of the details. That's all I have for this video. I hope you have a great day.